Fern will take over and introduce two other speakers for us. Mr. Gary Vigna is a partner in the elder law firm of Davis, Pagnano, McNeil, and Vigna, and he is a native Oregonian. He graduated from the University of Puget Sound Law School. He is a member of 3 sections of the Oregon State Bar, one of which is the elder law section. And in fact, he served as the executive committee member on the elder law section for the Oregon State Bar for 2 terms. His practice focuses on guardianships, conservatorships, estates, and trusts. And he also represents a number of professional guardians and conservators. He has served as a former member of the board of directors for Housing Resources, Kids on the Block, and he's a founding member for the board of directors for Guardian Partners. He's currently editor of the Oregon State Bar publication, Guardians, Conservatorships, and Transfers to Minors. David Crackey is here also, and he is an attorney who studied international environmental law at Lewis and Clark, and he received, while he was there, he received recognition for his best oral arguments and best brief, and served as editor and chair for the Journal on International Legal Perspectives. Mr. Crackey is a member of the Oregon State Bar for 28 years, and he was a partner at the Nichols Law Group, and he specialized in representing people that had survived brain injury. In 2009, Mr. Crackey played a lead role in passing Max's Law. This is one of the nation's first laws that actually enacted legislation to establish concussion protocols, and this was focused primarily for high school athletes. This is landmark legislation, and it was aimed to reduce the impact of brain injuries among Oregon student athletes. And Max's Law serves as a model for other states in the country. And this does require that all athletic coaches receive annual concussion symptom training, so that they can recognize concussion on the field. And it requires that all concussed players be cleared by a medical specialist prior to returning to the field of play. This was followed in 2014 by Jenna's Law, which he was also involved in, and this is additional concussion education requirement for all youth sports. And from a personal perspective, I remember when this happened. I didn't know Mr. Crackey then, but I had a son playing soccer, and I was one of those moms who did the bad thing of going onto the field when her child was injured. And also, yeah, I was doing on-field assessments. I was making the decision about whether the kids would play or not. The coaches maybe didn't always appreciate that, but I was so grateful for having the information that came out of this work, because I had those cards and I handed them out to everybody that I could find who would listen to me. And so I'm grateful as one mother of many. This was so important. In 2018, the Center on Brain Injury Research and Training, which is we refer to as CBIRT, appointed Mr. Crackey as the Brain Injury Advocate Coordinator. And CBIRT focuses on improving the lives of survivors of brain injury. And the goal is to create, strengthen services and supports to maximize people's independence after sustaining and surviving a brain injury. Mr. Crackey works tirelessly to fill in the service gaps for survivors of brain injury, promoting navigators and resource facilitators, as well as respite for family members that are on 24/7, 365, and also helping to figure out how to care for or provide services to our underserved, including our homeless survivors, as well as people in the rural community. Now I'd like to turn it over to Fern, and she will introduce our next speaker.
Hi, I'm Fern Wilgus, and I'm a part of the Brain Injury Connection organization. Marta, would you come up here, please? I'd like to introduce you to Marta Nwembe. He's a very special person, special for the work that she does as a mother of a brain injury surviving son and the rest of her family member. She is very, very active in the Latino community, and people, whoever needs assistance and a mouth. And when we formulated the organization, I wanted to make sure that we had some more than just white Americans, and so I reached out into the communities, and Marta stepped forward, and she's the founder of our Porta de Espinosa support group within the Brain Injury Connections. And she has also been on the board. And Marta is recently stepping off of the board because she's very, very active in the community in which she serves. And she is the what's the title?
Honorary consulate.
Honorary consulate for Guatemala. And right now, as you all might imagine, she's a very, very busy woman. And this is something that she's very, very active with. What I'd like to do is not only make the introduction with Marta, but Marta, in appreciation for your 4.5 years on our board. And we certainly hope that we see you every now and again as an advisory board member, or just to be able to call, dial, and smile and say, help! Otherwise you have to give the ribbon back to us. If you say no, you have to give the ribbon back. Marta, thank you ever so much.
I love presents.
Dana, where are you?
You know, one more thing I forgot to say, and I have to mention this to be official, is that the following presentation and presenters may or may not represent BIC Northwest. BIC Northwest does not condone, recommend, offer advice, or endorse the following, but offers it as for informational purposes only. And the presenters and presentations do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or official recommendations of BIC Northwest, its board, or its directors. So, officially did it.
We're saying that because we have 2 lawyers in the house.